part of our women's basketball program. Notice I didn't call him a fan or a supporter, although we appreciated all of our fans and all of our supporters, but Arthur was somebody who really was part of the fabric of our program in so many different ways. I met Arthur, I think, in 1988 when he was watching. He was in attendance at one of our women's basketball games. And it was easy for me to introduce myself to Arthur after the game because there were about 10 people in the crowd during those days. So he rather stood out. I think we averaged 30 or 40 people per game in attendance back then. And for Arthur to be a part of our program and to be in the Thunderdome when we sold it out for the Houston game and beating them before going to the Sweet 16, Arthur was so proud of that. I asked Arthur once why, what was it about women's basketball that he so much appreciated, and he told me lots of things, but one of the things that I remember was he said, I like underdogs. I like doing things to help programs or people that everybody says, oh, you'll never be able to do that. And then, sure enough, after a period of time, you do it. And then I came back to him later and said, well, you know, Arthur, we got pretty good now. Do you still like our program? Oh, he says, Mark, I love winners. So, you know, he saw both sides of things. But one of my great memories of Arthur is in 1991, we won our first women's basketball Big West championship, and ever. And our motto that year was respect, and our players wore little wristbands that said respect on them because for years, way before I started coaching, Jeff tells me that Arthur supported our program before I got there, and you really had to be a women's basketball fan during that and my first 2 or 3 years. You really had to like something besides winners because we struggled mightily. But in 91-92, we won 27 games and won our first Big West championship. And respect was the players' motto. They wanted respect. That's what they wanted to be women who were respected. And after we won our first championship, we came home, and there was a huge sign across the far end of the Thunderdome, not the main entrance, but down at the end of the parking lot. And strung among the undoubtedly eucalyptus trees was a huge sign as big as all this covered seating here that said respect on it. And for a long time, I didn't know where that sign came from. But turns out that guess who and his family and helpers made that sign and put it up. And our players took more pictures of that sign, and I don't have a lot of pictures up in my study of our women's basketball program. Between Paul and I, we have 9 grandchildren, and those grandchildren dominate the study, but I have a big picture of that respect sign. And Arthur was the kind of person that thought about doing things like that, little things, or a big thing in this case, that made a huge difference to all of us and all of our women. He made so many things. He made UCSB a better place. He made the UCSB women's basketball team a better place. He made Isla Vista a better place. He just made our world a better place. And I am so privileged to have known him and be here today to honor Arthur Kennedy. Thank you so much.